or other, because surely that is part of the nature of being human, that human beings are very creative creatures, always have been. From when we left the caves or left the trees or wherever the heck it was we were, from day one, we were very, very creative. Maybe that's what set us apart from the other things. But the thing is that we were very creative creatures, and I believe every single human, all you need to qualify to be creative is to be human, because you'll find in your life somewhere along the way. Because I've heard so many people say, "Oh, I'm not creative. Oh, I can't draw. I can't paint. This, that, and the other. Blah, blah, blah." And how many times I've heard people say this, and then they go on some sort of drawing class or art class or whatever, and lo and behold, they find that they've got a bit of a talent for it. Or even if they do find that they were kind of correct that they can't draw very well or this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But the amount of satisfaction and pleasure and enjoyment they get from it, and then they don't really care what other people think, whether they can draw or not. I'd be a millionaire for it. If I got £1 for every time I heard people say that. Do you know what I mean? Honest to God. The thing is that you never know until you try, and like I say, even if you're the most rubbish painter or artist in the whole world, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? The point is that if you're getting something from it, if it's making you feel good about you, then it doesn't matter what Tom, Dick and Harry down the road think about it. Do you know what I mean? It's what you think about it, and it's what it brings for you. That's the important thing. It doesn't matter. Because the thing is, again, another thing I've found is that, I've had some people hate my work and think my work's, and they just didn't get it and they didn't like it and blah, blah, blah. And that was a majority of people one time. This was I don't want to go into details of that because it just needs further explanation. I don't want to do that right now. But this certain place I was at for a little while, a certain group of people just did not like it, and they were in the majority. And this one guy came along one time, and out of all of these other people, he was the one person that actually liked this. And I'm sorry, it wasn't all of my work either. Sorry, there was a couple of pieces of my work that most of the staff at the time didn't like. This one other member of staff come along, and I expected him to kind of follow suit with everybody else and think like, oh yeah, I don't like them, but that one's cool. And he went the opposite way. What I'm trying to say here is that, people, each person that comes along will see something different in another person's art. So you might get 10, 20 people don't like your pieces of work. Look at Van Gogh. Van Gogh is the classic example to illustrate this and what I'm saying. Van Gogh, if people don't know much about Van Gogh and his history, Van Gogh never sold any of his work when he was alive. Not one single. Well, I think he sold one piece to his brother Theo. That was the only piece of artwork that he ever sold. And throughout his entire lifetime, the art world, his fellow artists, his the contemporary artists at the time, all poo-pooed his work. All said it was rubbish. He couldn't even give pieces of his artwork away so he could get a glass of wine from the flipping restaurant or whatever it was. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is that, now look at it. Do you know what I mean? He's venerated as one of the masters of art and painting. His paintings are in the Louvre. They're worth millions and millions of pounds. Obviously, after he dies, it's typical flipping artist story, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You never make any money whilst you're alive until once you pop your clogs. That's when your paintings really make money. But anyway, do you see that's the point? Do you know what I mean? Nobody really liked his work at the time. Everybody thought it was rubbish or whatever. Now people can't get enough of it, So don't be put off by what other people say necessarily. Don't be put off that, oh, I can't draw, it looks like a 2-year-old's drawing it. Well, go and ask a 2-year-old why they like to draw. Okay, you might not get a very, perhaps you wouldn't necessarily get a really coherent and deep answer perhaps. But, the thing is, it doesn't matter, do you know what I mean? I'm very, as you can maybe tell, quite passionate about this subject, because art is, for me, it's quite a wonderful, amazing thing, and it's not. I don't just mean in terms of the aesthetics of it or whatever either. I'm talking in terms of very much on a personal level, very, very personal level. Essentially, my art, my creativity, on not just one occasion, has literally, and I mean literally, saved my life on a good couple of occasions. And again, I won't relate those stories right now. Maybe sometime, maybe at some time, somewhere down the line. But the point is, the thing is that art to me is quite a special thing. It's not just about, like I say, the nice pretty painting, which, you know, we can all do a nice pretty painting, but, you know, that's not the sole purpose. I mean, yeah, in some ways you need that as well. Do you know what I mean? There's room in art for all versions and all forms of it. Art is art, and creativity is creativity. And for one reason or another, human beings feel and find the need, and I mean the need, to do it. Not just because they want to, but because there's a deep-seated need to create. You know, for whatever reasons. You know, like I say, I don't want to go into a big theological discussion as to why people become an artist or why they don't or whatever. Anyway, sorry, I am now starting to waffle because, as you may have noticed, because I'm now starting to paint, obviously I'm now starting to concentrate slightly more, and therefore my waffling on is starting to slow down. So rather than bore the pants off you guys, and also to give myself a bit of room to be able to concentrate on what I'm doing, rather than have to keep constantly referring back to the camera, I'm gonna just do this little bit here. Just get that little bit there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off, and then I'll turn it back on again just before I finish, perhaps. Actually, do you know what? This. Oh, sorry. It's because I do this all the time, and I didn't expect. I really thought for a minute now I'm going to be turning off, but I've managed to do that without too much. Awesome, and without any real great difficulties in that sense. And this bit now is just blocking it in. It's just blocking in the colour. So the thing is that I don't really need to do a hell of a lot of concentrating on doing this bit necessarily. Although again, I don't know, I'm noticing. Because I was thinking, right, I'll turn the camera off now because I don't want to bore you guys, because I'm going to have to stop talking really, because I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, and that bit I was finding it difficult to concentrate and talk at the same time. But now I'm doing a relatively easy bit, and so then I thought, right, okay, let's not turn it off, let's just carry on filming. But then I'm also noticing that one, I'm not looking at you guys as much. And although this is relatively easy, I'm starting to get into that, you know, that part where your brain just starts going into automatic pilot mode. And this is why, you know, doing some kind of art, some kind of creativity is so therapeutic. It really is. I can feel myself calming right down. It's not weird. I don't mean weird, because obviously I experienced this most of my life, if not all of my life. I think what it is because I haven't done. This is the first time in a long time that I've actually started to do anything creative again. Well, no, okay, fair enough. That's not strictly true, is it? I mean, you know, you could argue that doing the vlogs is slightly creative. Some of those music vlogs I've made, well, they're not really vlogs, are they? Just little music video things that I've done just recently. So my creativity still wants an outlet, and it still needs an outlet. And I've been denying it that outlet for a long time now, to be quite honest, for one reason or another. Um, and yeah, sorry, I have no idea where my brain just completely shut down then. But suffice it to say that I think maybe I don't know if to carry on filming this now or whether to stop, because again I don't want this to be really boring. I mean, I'm going to be watching this back myself, and I don't want to be sat there for the next 10 minutes listening to myself just half waffling on. Do you know what I mean? So I can imagine how it must feel for you guys. Do you know what I mean? Because at least I'm doing something sat here. Do you know what I mean? You'll be just sat there going, "What the heck is he talking about?" Or whatever. Right. Okay. So I did want to get some newspaper actually. I thought I had some newspaper because I didn't want to. I mean, the table's beat up and mashed up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But you know, again, I try to keep. I've always been taught to keep things clean. Do you know what I mean? Keep your area clean, keep your tools clean, all that sort of thing. Because I don't know, it's just important. Once you start working in a mess, you start losing stuff. You start, and I know that's going to leave. Do you know, I'm just thinking, do you know, if I keep this running and you're seeing me as I would normally be, I'm actually starting to act and be how I would normally be if that camera wasn't on. So you're getting a real insight into me, in a sense, because it's not an act and it's not for entertainment, well, entertainment purpose, whatever. But it's not really for any of that. This is me. Like it or not, you know, some people might think, oh, that's the real you, but of course that's my own fears and what's that. I'm going to use this just for now because I just can't find any. What's that? I don't. Right, see, because look, I put it on the table and it would have left all that on the table. And like I say, at the moment I don't want to do that necessarily. I'm just going to put my little pebble there for a minute, just out of the way. Oh, excuse me. Right. So, oh, see, now I need some tissue. See, that's another thing. I either have a piece of tissue or a cloth so that I can wipe my brush with.